What's up, everyone? TJ Hernandez here with RosterCoach.com, and this is the Wild Card Round GPP Value Report, where I go through the featured contests on the main slate for both FanDuel and DraftKings and look at the games and their different payout structures to help you guys out with game selection. And in case you haven't taken a look yet, the main slate on both FanDuel and DraftKings constitutes the Saturday and Sunday games, so that is the slate of games that we'll be looking at. And obviously, with just a 4-game slate, the payouts of these contests are going to be a little bit different. Overall, we're just going to see smaller prize pools, just because there's fewer people playing in the playoffs, but there is still quite a bit of money to be won. Still some pretty decently sized contests out there, and if you are playing a pretty high volume, you definitely want to be taking into account the structures of these games and see if they have changed or if they haven't. Starting at FanDuel, at the games priced up to the $10 level, still rolling out the Sunday Million, $1 million prize pool at the $7 buy-in level, still awarding $250,000 to first place. So the prize pool dropped a little bit, so that means a bigger portion of that money is going to first. 25% of the total prize pool is going to first place, about 22% of the field being paid. Just 2 other contests below the $10 buy-in level where there's a chance to win at least $10,000. We have the $50,000 snap at the $4.44 level, $10,000 to first in that game, which accounts for 20% of the prize pool, about 21% of the field being paid in that one. And then the rush is a $175,000 prize pool game at the $5 buy-in level, $30,000 to first place, 20% of the field being paid, so a little bit lower than those other contests. 17% of the money going to first place in that game. Pretty much the same in terms of the games with the flattest payout structures that we've seen. The Pancake Block, which is their 25-cent buy-in game on FanDuel, 24% of the field's being paid out in that game. The prize pool is down to $35,000 in that contest, with $2,000 going to first. The Dive is a $100,000 prize pool contest at the $1 level. Pretty similar structure, almost 25% of the field being paid in that one, with $6,000 of the $100,000 going to first. And the Snap at the $2 level, 30 entry max game, $5,000 first place prize, $100,000 prize pool, 25% of the field being paid out in that game. Looking at the games priced above $10 on FanDuel, the big high-stakes contest is the $400,000 Wild Card Special, $100,000 to first place, $250 buy-in, so 25% of the field being of the money going to first place in that one, 20% of the field being paid there. Some other big contests, the Monster at the $555,000 level is awarding $50,000 of the $200,000 prize pool to first, less than 20% of the field being paid in that one, with a quarter of the money going to first. And really, if we look at any of these games above $100, at least a quarter of the money going to first place. So we see some really steep payout structures at the higher stakes. For that, you do get that reduced rate, so definitely want to pay attention to that. The one big contest, the slightly lower stakes, the mid stakes, is the Bomb at the $33 level, a $275,000 prize pool this week, with $50,000 going to first place. Not quite as steep as those higher stakes contests, but still not a relatively great payout structure. Less than 20% of the field being paid, about 18% of the money going to first place there. Really only one contest that stands out in terms of a flatter game. We have the Spin Move at the $35 level with a $25,000 prize pool that's paying out almost 25% of the field, and only 12% of the money is going to first, but that also means only $3,000 is up top, so one of the smaller first place prizes that you'll find on FanDuel this week. Moving on over to DraftKings, this week we only have a couple really big contests on FanDuel. I'm sorry, on DraftKings, like I mentioned, quite a smaller player pool that we're expecting this week. So we'll see some of the biggest contests, a pretty significant drop in prizes at the smaller stakes games, priced below $20. The big contest is the play action still. $1 million prize pool in the play action, $50,000 going to first place. So pretty much exactly the same structures that we've seen for these standard contests that they've been rolling out every week. Not too much crazy fluctuation in the prize pool. That play action's been between $1 and $2 million prize pool all year, so they didn't really take a ton of money out of that one. Post pattern is back this week. The $8 buy-in with the $15,000 prize pool awarding $10,000 to first place. As you can see, pretty much all of these contests at $1 and above are paying out at least 25% of the field, save the first down at the $1 level and the flea flicker, both of those paying out slightly under 25% of the field. So pretty similar structures at the lower stakes. Just kind of, if you're going to decide between these games, you're going to alternate just if you want more upside or if you want to play a smaller field and a better chance to take down a tournament. That's really the only difference in the structures at these lower stakes. And as we move up to the contest's price, $20 and above, I mentioned a little bit smaller prizes up here, starting with the quarter millionaire this week. So not the millionaire anymore, moving on to the postseason. $2 million prize pool. First place is $250,000. So this actually makes the tournament a little more palatable, whereas we've seen upwards of a third of the money going to first place in this tournament. Just 12.5% of the money going to first place here. Still not a huge percentage of the field being paid out, just over 23%, but that's pretty standard for the most part at the higher stakes games on DraftKings, pretty on par with what we've seen all year. If we look at these other big games, the Power Sweep at the $150 level, the Wildcat at the $333 level, very similar, 21% of the field being paid out in that Power Sweep, which is a 3-max contest, and then the Wildcat, which is the second biggest first place prize available, $100,000 to first place, just over 22% of the field being paid out in that one. If we're looking for a better structure or more of the field being paid out, 3 contests paying out at least 25% of the field. The goal line at the $75 level is a 3-max game, paying out almost 27% of the field, $3,000 up top in that game. The touchdown is a single entry contest at the $200 level. Only 55 entries in that contest. Chance to turn your $200 into $2,000. So not a big first place multiplier, but 25% of the field being paid there. And then the check down pass at the $777 level is paying out almost 29% of the field. 10 of the 35 entrants in that contest will be battling it out for $7,000. So again, the structures are pretty similar to what we've seen in the regular season, but obviously significant smaller prize pools, especially for those big draw contests. So be sure to go through this, check out any games that you're thinking about entering, and hit me up with any questions here or on Twitter. Again, TJ Hernandez with RosterCoach.com. Thank you for watching.